I was going to say anxiety is on the rise, and the people around me, the first thing they mention is I'm anxious. And there are labels to this. I have this condition, and I have this condition, and now there's a spectrum. And I don't think it's a question of. I don't know if it's a question of labeling at this point. I think it's a
But
question of understanding.
we're
We like
a
labels,
long, long time ago, post-Renaissance, we started labeling things to not examine them anymore.
right? Good point.
We labeled them to make them right or wrong. Simple can be. And one of the things, Dr. Heather Hunt, that's in our field, our group, our global group, she's promoting a certain thing called vitality medicine, because our present medical model is that the physical body is deficient. And that's not correct, that we have to get it back to itself. Well, it's already itself. And operating in the ancient tradition is that the body is sufficient. So that thing about anxiety, I swear to goodness, you should make a t-shirt that says hurrah for anxiety, because that's the system basically saying no more, no more, no more, no more, no more shutdown, no more, no, and it will look really messy. That's the other thing. Human beings are taught not to be messy. So we're getting messy, but messy is good. Messy is very,
I'm
very good.
I'm writing it down. Hurrah for anxiety.
Yes, because what you actually said it. You said that when people are divergent, when they can't get their bodies under control, which is divergent, when they can't make it do what we want to make it do, that's divergent. That means there's a whole shift in how we're going to operate as human beings. But the real key lies for anyone who's anxious. The search for safety is the key. Because once the nervous system can calm, even in a moment of safety, the brain, because if you examine people that are anxious, be fun to do kind of a panel on this. If you examine people that are anxious, they don't know what they're anxious about. And so they apply it to a label because that gives them a place. It doesn't help any, but it gives them like a break in the hyperness, do you know? But to really look at and really examine, like a human being can actually be trusted to say what they're anxious about. And the other thing that we've been kind of manipulated into is if we have the answer, we'll be all right. No, 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 no. No, answer is not helping at all.
Not at all. I agree with that. I think the way of being when you're neurodivergent forces you into a lifestyle and life choices that have a clear yes and or no to them. And there's no two ways about it. I have tried so hard to get my poor system to do what needs to be done. And I find myself getting angry. My system is angry at me. So, and there is fury in it. There is like thunder, lightning. How dare you go against this elemental nature?
Yeah.
So it's winning. It's not afraid of me. It's not afraid of my mind. It's not, it doesn't care. It's going to do what it needs to do. And there's nothing, like, I can't help it. I don't need to control it. It carries me, as opposed to I'm carrying, we're used to, we're going to put our body in this place and we're going to use it this way and we're going to push it hard and we're going to do this. No, my body carries me. The elemental nature of my nervous system carries me to more delight that I could ever imagine possible, to more beauty and juiciness that you could ever imagine possible. And a lot of people talk about this. It's all about the body. It's all about finding the juice. But the world we live in is kind of scary right now.
Yes, it is. I wanted to go back to what you said about, I always sing this one line. I'm a little hoarse today, but I'm going to try to sing it. Um, when my body is informing me that I'm an idiot, basically. And I sing this, I think it's two lines. It goes, I want to know what love is. I want you to show me.
Oh,
I
that's
want to
beautiful.
go where love is. I want me to know me. And literally that's what I sing because I know the resonance of those two lines makes more mana in my nervous system than my mental thinking. That singing it has a resonance to it. And back at the beginning, we talked about how do neurodivergent people, or anybody really, everybody's neurodivergent right now, in my opinion. How do we deal with it? And music's one of the key elements because it allows us to our nervous system to register the resonance of something. And while our mental brain has a tendency to make the nervous system more hyper because we don't know how to think resonantly. We
Mm.
think objectively, we think assessingly, we think uh, to understand or to explain, and none of that calms the nervous system unless we hit pay dirt. And there's something about our languaging that has when you say, oh my God, I got it. Oh my God, that is what's going on. Then you're resonating in language, but it's not common.
I call
I've
it the
heard,
dawn of understanding.
yes, it's the dawn of understanding in the true nature because it's understanding where your whole system is affected. But I do want to constantly reinforce that we're very we're very pressured into thinking that the world around us is the only world. And in the news and in conversations, certain realities are promoted, but they're not the only realities. The indigenous people and that are still existing in Amazon know nothing about what's going on in the rest of the world, and their world operates very, very differently in the rest of the world. But we can do that too. This is, if I could get one point across, this is the gift of the nervous system, that in the midst of the trash, it can find the flower. In the midst of the horror, it can find the sunshine. And if you let it have its practice of just whether it's just for a minute or for an hour or for a day, if you let the nervous system have its practice of being what makes you feel life enhanced and life generating, eventually it's like a metaphysical sci-fi fantasy movie. It's like you go through this fog of mesmerization, and then somehow the nervous system now is tracking what gives you life and has you exist as whole, or what's life enhancing, or what's pleasant. And then all of a sudden you sort of break out into a world where it's only that, where it actually doesn't exist any other way. And that's a promise. That's a
I
promise.
love
Like
that world.
yes. And it really is the nervous system. If we look at the world around us, we've been mesmerized into thinking that's the only thing to register. So we have to give the nervous system something else to register so we can find our way to paradise or Valley High or Nirvana or whatever people want to call it. If you can't register, you can't find it. It's that simple. Yes, that's it.
It makes
That's the
it so
key to the
beautiful.
kingdom.
Love that.
I wish I could remember his name. He was a guru, but I can't remember his name. In a mini guru, and I used to drive him back and forth between LA and Rio, near San Francisco. And he would play one song, and he would play it all the way back and all the way back and forth, which is about a 6-hour drive. And I'd say, why do you keep playing this one song? And he said, it takes about 6 hours for the message of a song to get in the body. And I never forgot
Mm.
that.
I
And
should
I think
record
he's
this
right.
one
Yes, exactly.
on the loop.
And research it. I mean, literally research it. See if certain things that have been agonizing start to dispel and go away. Either start not registering so intensely, or they just simply stop being operative in your world.